What is going on, my dudes? James here, living life from dusk till dawn as always, drinking some delicious Alaskan coffee. Kaladi Brothers coffee, best coffee in the world, hands down. Well, best coffee that I have tried. Anyways, we are here on the back of Sasha. The tailgate is taken apart, and I'm doing some stuff. So I've decided to start a new series. I was just doing this on my own time in my driveway, and I realized that I probably should be making an update video for you guys, talking about exactly what's going on. So we're starting a new series that I would like to call the Tailgate Update. What's the importance of this series is basically I'm going to be discussing parts that I have purchased for Sasha in the past. Eventually, for those of you that are interested in my Mazda Speed 3, I might transition to doing it on that platform as well. But the main goal is going to be on Sasha, and these updates are going to be discussing the things that I like and the things that I don't like about the upgrades that I have installed. So today I am performing a corrective maintenance repair on one of the parts that I purchased and installed on the Tacoma. So as I already mentioned, I'm on the tailgate, and you saw me hold these up right here. Basically what this is it's the tailgate actuator, the automatic actuator that I got from Running for Tacos, I believe. There was a couple of different companies that made kits like this, which I guess the ultimate goal of this kit was my stock Tacoma did not come with an automatic locking function for the tailgate, which isn't a big deal for a truck bed, but once I started putting things like my deck drawer system and started storing more things in the back, it was important to me that my tailgate got locked when I left the truck. And instead of pulling the key out and locking it every single time that I went to leave the truck, it's a lot easier if it's automatic. So I found online kits that let you install it really easy. So I bought it, I installed it. Fast forward about 6 months, and I had some weird thing happen with the tailgate lock, which basically I hit the button to unlock the truck. I went to open the tailgate, and it didn't open. It was as if the lock didn't do anything. And then when I double click the unlock button again, thinking, well, maybe I just didn't double click it to unlock all the doors in the truck, and I could hear the actuator making noise, but it didn't actually do anything, which was concerning because I didn't know how to deal with that. If I can't unlock the tailgate like that, then how do you do it? So I pulled my key out, I put it in a little key slot, I tried turning it, wasn't working, and eventually what I had to do was actually rip the black plastic portion of the tailgate, like the upper portion, the trim, off in order to shove something down inside of the tailgate and actuate the lock myself. Otherwise, it was going to end up becoming more drastic than that, and I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to be able to, or how I was going to remedy this situation. So, no bueno. What I found out is that the lock itself had seized, and the piston was unable to overcome the force of the electronic motor that's inside of this piston in order to actuate the piston side itself. So after I freed it, it wasn't too big of a deal. You can see very, very easy motion out of the piston. It's pretty much, it's one finger to actuate. That's what it's supposed to feel like. I greased up all of the connections inside of here, cleaned them up. There wasn't a whole lot of dust in them, but I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't excess resistance that the piston was fighting. And then I put it all back together, and then I didn't have any more issues for about 6 months. So now we're about a year in to me having this in my truck, and beyond the warranty at this point, by the way, and it decided to do that again. This time, however, it had jumped the locking mechanism. So the latch itself has this little piece of metal with a tiny little hole on it, and it rests on top of this little nub here, which basically that doesn't have any sort of a catch or anything that holds that bracket or that plate in place, and just through the actuation of the piston, it jumped off of the track and was unable to unlock and lock the tailgate. Now with that one, I was able to use my key to unlock it because there was no resistance on the piston, and I was able to open it and find that problem. I don't have a fix for that, but I put it back on and I was like, well, maybe this is like a one-time thing. I'm sure it'll happen again, but it's not that big of a deal. Fast forward another 6 months or so, and the piston seized again. This time I was a little bit more frustrated with it. I had to do the same thing where I had to rip the trim off in order to get something down. I just used like a wooden dowel to unlock the latch. But this time the piston was pretty difficult to operate. And when I put it back together, and was hitting the lock and unlock button. It sounded rough. It sounded pretty bad. And I was like, you know, there's not a whole lot that I can do about this in terms of fixing the internals of the piston if it's messed up. So I emailed the company. I said, hey, look, I know I'm outside of warranty, but I've noticed that this is a problem. I'm curious if y'all have seen this problem through other customers that have used your same system. And two, whether or if you have the ability to separate the electronic piston from the kit so I can purchase just one of those. To which they emailed me back and they said, yes, we can do that. So I did buy a new piston from them, as you can see. And when we went out on the Georgia Traverse, unfortunately, I had this issue happening the entire Traverse, so much so that eventually I just pulled this off of the latch because it had enough force to lock the car, but it didn't have enough force to unlock the car, which was very frustrating because I would, you know, get inside of the car and I'd get the speed up to going 25 miles an hour or whatever the heck the speed is for it to actually actuate the lock, like the automatic lock, and then it would lock my tailgate, and then I couldn't get in, and then that night at camp I'd have to mess around. So you saw that took a lot of force to pull it off, and now it's just kind of weirdly in an intermediate position. But if you look at this one right here, you'll see that it has pretty much, it maintains its own position, and I can feel it rotating the motors inside. So I don't know what happened to this, but that piston, that rod that's in here is not actually connected to the motor, and so whenever the motor was trying to lock and unlock the car, couldn't do it. Anyways, here we are on the back of the Tacoma. I pulled the old piston off of the plate. I'm putting the new one back in its place. For those of you that are curious how to install this, I'll link that video down in the description. It was not a difficult install, and other than the issues that I've been having with that specific piston, which very well could have been faulty from factory and I just got unlucky, I'm very happy with it. You know, it did exactly what I wanted it to do when it was doing it, where it would unlock and lock my tailgate with the truck. I don't know necessarily if I would have made this same purchase again, knowing what I know now about this, and that was a potential problem that I could encounter. That's unfair, I would say, to the company. It's for me to have that opinion, but I mean, with all products that you purchase as an individual, you're gonna want it to be 100% perfect. That's really just not the reality of how mechanical equipment works. It has a lifespan, and I suppose I was just hoping that lifespan would have been a little bit longer than what I actually received from it. So, like I said, could have been a factory defect. Everything is gonna be okay forever. Oh God! If y'all got that reference, drop a message down in the comments there. Everything's gonna be okay forever. That's pretty much it. I don't really have a whole lot else to talk about. The R4T was very quick to respond when I brought up that I was having this issue. And they were very quick to resolve the problem with saying, yep, we can send you a new piston and you can get your lock working again. So, and in that regard, you know, bravo on them. I really appreciate it. So my dudes, usually I have the screen that you're currently looking at in front of me here so that I can be looking at you while I'm talking, but it's off to my left at the moment and I don't really want to fix it. So I went to the Running for Tacos website just to take a look at the tailgate lock kit and see if they have made any changes to the thing itself, right? And it appears that they have. So not only are the plates a different color, I don't know if there's a reason for that. Mine were painted black. These are now silver. But they also include a retaining clip for that issue that I mentioned about the second time that the lock failed on me, where that little arm jumped off of that tab. So I guess they have provided a fix. Unfortunately, I don't have that. So I'm gonna live with it. I could honestly probably throw a bead of hot glue or just something there just to keep it from sliding off. Like I said, it only fell off once and I've been using it for going on 3 years now. But yeah, and this is indeed their company's product that is not outsourced to anybody else. This is a Running for Tacos product. So yep, that's the website you can go to if you are interested. If you guys have any questions or you're curious about anything else about this product or whatever, then drop a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer it to the best of my abilities. And if I can't, then of course there's the company that designed it that probably has answers to more technical questions than I can give. So thank you for joining me on the Tailgate Update. See you guys in the next one. Don't forget to live from dusk till dawn.